the Society of St. John the Evangelist, and the Gospel of John is particularly dear to the hearts of my brothers and I. And John's understanding of prayer is one which affects me profoundly. For John, prayer is not just about communicating with God, but is most profoundly about the mystery of participation in the very nature of God himself. One of the prayers which I love from the Eucharist, I think in the American Prayer Book, I think in Rite 1, is the prayer of humble access, which talks about that we may evermore dwell in him and he in us. This extraordinary sense that we can actually dwell in God and God dwelling in us. That image can transform prayer from being a rather dry communication with a God out there into a sort of rather glorious, intimate relationship with the God who is deep within us and who calls us into deep intimacy with him. I think when I first started praying intentionally, I did pray to Jesus, and Jesus has always been central to my prayer. More recently, actually, as a monk, I've become more aware of the reality of God as Trinity, as three persons, and that's been quite an exciting revelation for me, that God as Trinity, as a sort of dynamic relationship, and a relationship into which I'm invited to share. And so in my prayers now I have a much stronger sense of God as Father, Son and Holy Spirit, which is really, well, I find it quite wonderful. And I find the traditional icon of the Trinity, the Rubloff Trinity, really helpful, because I think it expresses artistically and theologically this sense of God as dynamic relationship of Father, Son and Holy Spirit, you know, in a loving relationship. And when I look at that icon in prayer, I feel very much invited in to that relationship, to take my place in, as it were, the heavenly banquet.